Whatever you want to play, I want to make it happen for you. Hey everybody, welcome back to You Choose Tunes, the place where you pick the music and I transcribe and teach it to you. In case you haven't met me yet, my name is Jocelyn, and if this is your first time joining us, welcome, and be sure to check out the intro video which is linked below for the answers to all your questions about what You Choose Tunes is and how you can participate. Spoiler alert, it's really easy. At the beginning of this month, I asked you to send me song requests on the @YouChooseTunes Instagram account, and after those were in, you voted between the top two songs, which were the Snowman Challenge and the Wellerman. And the winner was the Wellerman! A big thank you to everybody who participated in the first ever song selection for You Choose Tunes. Hopefully this will add some spice to your practice routine by playing music that you choose and like listening to, while also working on your fundamental and saxophone specific skills. Without further ado, let's dive right into the Wellerman. In this video, we're going to quickly review the key of the piece for E-flat and B-flat instruments, learn some articulation exercises to help you speed up your tonguing, and tackle the biggest intonation monster on all saxophones, the middle D. After we go over these things, there will be a video of me playing the piece for you to reference while you practice. Let's start by quickly going over the key of the piece. Looking at the key signature is one of the first things you should do whenever you get a new piece of music. Here, we see that there are no sharps or flats for E-flat instruments, and since we're in a minor key, this means that we are in A minor. For B-flat instruments, there is only one flat, so we are in D minor. Here are the notes for A and D minor. Be sure to play through the scale before you practice the piece, so either pause here or reference these notes later. The Wellerman has a lot of tongue 16th notes, which can be tricky when they're back to back, so I'm going to give you some exercises that'll help speed up your tonguing while also keeping your tongue light. It's important to remember that when you tongue, you are only interrupting your airstream, you're not stopping it. Your tongue should tap the tip of your reed and then quickly get off of it. It's also important to remember that your tongue is a muscle and it should be treated as such. Just like if you went to the gym, you wouldn't start off with 200-pound weights even if you might want to. You have to start small and build up to it. So when you're practicing tonguing, start slow and gradually build up to that fast goal tempo. You should also take breaks while practicing tonguing, just like you would rest between reps at the gym. Your tongue can get fatigued quickly, so don't push it too much. This first exercise is going to help you speed up your tonguing on one note. Let's put it in our minor scale for the piece. Remember to start slow. I'll demonstrate at quarter note equals 60. At this slow tempo, really focus on keeping a constant stream of air, lightly tapping your tongue to the tip of the reed, and ensuring that all of your notes are even. And so on, all the way up and down the scale. When you're happy with your sound at this tempo, go ahead and turn the metronome up 5 or 10 clicks and try to keep that same sound at a faster tempo. Eventually, you'll find the tempo where your tongue just can't keep up anymore, and that's okay. That's your goal tempo. The next time you practice, start about 20 clicks slower and gradually work up to it again. You'll find that it gets easier every day, and soon you'll be able to tongue at that tempo and set a new goal tempo. Tonguing repeated notes is important to build up speed, but changing notes adds a whole nother layer of difficulty as you have to make sure that your fingers are moving exactly in time with your tongue. Oftentimes in music, we have to tongue changing notes, so it's important to practice that as well. Here's another practice exercise for you. Again, be sure to start slow, making sure that everything is even and your fingers are moving exactly in time with your tongue so you're not flubbing between notes. So if you haven't already, go ahead and practice these exercises and remember to share your progress and tag You Choose Tunes on Instagram to be featured. Alright, so now that you're all speed demons, we're going to tackle another demon, the dreaded middle D. Because of how the saxophone is built, there are a few intonation pitfalls, but the biggest one of all is the middle D. This note wants to be super sharp on every horn. As saxophonists, we have to learn how to control the horn and fight its natural tendencies. This middle D appears a lot in the B-flat version of the Wellerman, so be careful. But these same practices can be applied to those high A's that appear in the E-flat version, so pay attention. Alright, go ahead and pull up your tuner and tune up real quick. After you're in tune, play a middle D. Now, don't fidget with it, just play a middle D with a good embouchure and see where it wants to fall naturally. If you don't have a tuner, there are a few free apps on the App Store, but if you want a really good tuner, I would recommend getting either Tonal Energy, which is only $4 on the App Store, or the Tunable app, which is $9. Both of these apps are used by professional musicians everywhere, including myself, so they're both great investments. You'll definitely use them for a long time coming. So now that we've seen proof that the middle D wants to be sharp, how can we fix it? The best option is to adjust our voicing and try to lower it ourselves. We can change the intonation of a note by raising or lowering our tongue. In this case, because the note is sharp, we want to bring the pitch down, so we lower our tongue. One thing to be really careful of is that you don't change your embouchure to change the pitch. We want everything to stay nice and secure and supportive while we adjust our intonation, otherwise it'll affect your tone and you just won't sound as good. I'm going to quickly demonstrate the effect that raising and lowering your tongue has on the pitch of a note. Watch as my embouchure doesn't move, but you can see the pitch changing on the tuner. Now go ahead and experiment with this a little bit too. Explore the movement of your tongue and listen as it changes the pitch of the note. Alright, so now we're going to see just how low we can get the pitch of that middle D. Start by playing a normal middle D and then lower your tongue as far as you can and see how flat you can make the note. Like, make it as flat as you possibly can. Now that we know that we can get the pitch a lot lower than where it wants to sit naturally, we know we can get it in tune a lot easier. So this time, after we get the pitch as low as possible, let's raise it back up to be in tune and then hold it there for as long as you can. Don't worry if you can't get the pitch too far down yet. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes and the more flexibility you will have. So much of our playing is based on muscle memory. Whether it's in our fingers or in our mouth, practice really does make perfect, and repetition is key. If you're still having problems getting the pitch of the middle D down, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. While fingering a middle D, you can put down the low B key and the pitch will automatically lower. This fingering also works if you're playing a middle D sharp or E flat, which also wants to be really sharp. Try not to rely on this fingering too much, as it does change the tone of the note. It sounds much more closed off and can even sound a little pinched, and that's not how we want to sound. So if you can, just try to play a normal D in tune, but that low B key really can save the day sometimes. Alright y'all, so now that we've talked about the key of the piece, practice some tonguing exercises, and learn how to play a middle D in tune, you're ready to play the Wellerman. Remember that you can be featured on the @YouChooseTunes Instagram account if you tag it in a video of you practicing. Song selection for March will begin on March 1st, so start thinking about what music you want to play next. Also, please spread the word about You Choose Tunes to all of your saxophone friends because it's simply not possible without you. Next up is a video of me playing the Wellerman, so you have something to reference while you practice. The music is in the original key, so you could even duet people on TikTok if you want to. I highly encourage you to have your music up while you listen so you can follow along. Happy practicing, and I'll see you next month. Alright, here's our tempo. And 1, 2, 3.